Of course, we know Shishupal is Krishna's eternal associate. So they all ultimately come back home, back to Godhead. When they're liberated into Krishna's body, then they become purified of that demoniac desire. Just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that the demoniac are continually thrown into the cycle of birth and death. So the only way that they can possibly get out of that cycle is to be killed by Krishna. So if they're not fortunate to appear during Krishna's pastime, then Krishna comes as Kalki and kills all the demons. They can merge into his body, and then they become purified, and then they have the opportunity to actually descend again to the human form, but with some attachment to Krishna, and they can become devotees. Otherwise, they will continually be thrown into the cycle of birth and death. They're so demoniac. And therefore, we have to give up the demoniac desire in the heart to enjoy this material energy and merge into the bliss of devotional service. Not merge into Krishna, but merge into the bliss of devotional service. So those are some thoughts on this verse. I'll stop here. Any question or comment? Yeah. Hare Krishna. Well, you have to get that drone.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
I would like to thank you for this wonderful lecture. Every word that you spoke was actually nectar, which was actually falling onto our consciousness, which is burning in this fire of this material existence. And every word was very cooling and soothing for us who are actually burning over here. So my question is, you mentioned about shanta-rasa. And all these years I have been thinking that what is the definition of shanta-rasa? Because when you see dasya-rasa, in all the 5 rasas, dasya-rasa is present, but I haven't still understood that what is shanta-rasa. So Maharaj, can you please explain what is shanta-rasa?
Yes, shanta-rasa means, if pure shanta-rasa means impersonal realization of Krishna. Impersonal realization of Krishna is not Mayavad. No. Mayavad is the perversion of that, where just like because he was inimical to Krishna, Dhritarashtra came to Brahman realization. So that Brahman realization, he could realize, he knew that Krishna was supreme, but he couldn't realize the sweetness of Krishna. He could only realize Krishna's greatness. And he couldn't appreciate it to the highest degree. There was no doubt, there was no service. So for shanta-rasa to exist in the spiritual world, there has to be a mixture with dasya-rasa. No. But when shanta is predominant, but our acharyas, generally speaking, they don't mention shanta-rasa because it implies that they don't want to even give the indication that we should have Brahman realization. Therefore, they say 4 rasas, starting with dasya-rasa. But there is shanta-rasa even in Vrindavan, and there is shanta-rasa even more in Vaikuntha. Devotees like Prasad Maharaj that offer prayers. So the offering of the prayers is dasya, but the mood is shanta. So,
Maharaj, one more question. You mentioned that one or the other day we'll have to get to the level of sannyas, that is detachment. So when in the Bhagavad Gita, what I have read, it's sannyas yoga. Sannyas means detachment from material, attachments, and yoga means connection to Krishna. But from our level at this point of time, where to reach to sannyas, it seems very difficult for us because we have to still transmigrate to the vanaprastha and then to the sannyas. So how can we slowly and steadily transmigrate from this grahastha to the vanaprastha and then to the sannyas, Maharaj?
Well, it's an internal mood. Our internal mood, and Rupa Goswami, he defines that. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. We accomplish it by becoming more attached to Krishna. That sannyas in Krishna consciousness means being very attached to Krishna, and naturally we become detached from Maya. So we've all experienced this already in our lives. And externally speaking, when we were young children, like 6 months old or something, anyone can see a 6-month-old child, you give them a toy and try to take it away. No, you can't take it away. They'll scream and shout. But if you give them a better toy or a sweet, then they give it up. So this is sannyas. And so the more we become attached to Krishna's nama, rupa, guna, lila, then that the mood of sannyas increases. Even though we may be a grihastha, we may be taking care of children, but your attachment to the deity, attachment to Krishna's leelas, attachment to Krishna's qualities, attachment to Krishna's form and his name increases more and more. That's our evolution. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Maharaj, like there is a Brahma Vimohan Leela, one of the reason where Krishna became a calf, because the cows also wanted that when Krishna will become my calf, or they wanted to offer milk.
Yeah.
So is it like the Vatsalya is not just as a human being, human form, but it's maybe a cow also, somebody can be a Vatsalya with the Krishna? Because sometimes we hear that the trees, they are in shanta-rasa in spiritual world.
Mm-hmm.
So is it a mood, or it, like a form with also the rasa has connection, or it's a mood with connection of rasa?
The forms of the trees. Well, the trees in Vrindavan, they do dasya because they give fruits to Krishna. And they give fruits, they give shade, and they're waiting for Krishna to come so that they can do this service. But their mood is generally shanta because they're meditating on Krishna. Otherwise, how often can Krishna be below? Of course, he can appear below every tree at any time. So the cows, the trees, the animals, their mood is just awe. They're awed by Krishna. Just like when I had the opportunity to see Srila Prabhupada, and I was such a young devotee, I was just awed. I couldn't even speak. It was just like, it was overwhelming. So that's their mood. It's like, but then they offer their service. So those who offer their service first, without any awe, just like Ratraka, Patraka, they don't, there's no awe. They simply go to and serve Krishna. And of course, they're overwhelmed by his beauty. And as far as Krishna becoming calves and cowherd boys, that was simply because the cows also were meditating on Krishna, because they have super consciousness. It's not like an ordinary cow here just thinking about eating. No. Their super consciousness is that they see Krishna was his mother, and they're thinking, I would like to be Krishna's mother. So Krishna gives them the opportunity in that lila. And in Goloka Vrindavan, he will not do that directly, but they remember that. They remember from Boma Vrindavan. They remember that lila, and so when they see Krishna, they remember Krishna as their calf. Just like the devotees in Goloka Vrindavan, they remember Krishna killing demons. Although he's not killing demons there, but they remember it. You know? And Mother Yashoda remembers Krishna as a little baby, and she experiences it. But it doesn't happen in Goloka Vrindavan. So that's why Krishna has the Boma Lila. So that's why Sanatana Goswami said, I think that the Boma Lila is sweeter because Krishna appears as a baby. And so they would sometimes, Rupa Goswamis felt that Goloka Lila was sweeter because of Krishna's absorption in the gopis. And so even among the Goswamis, there are different feelings of what is sweeter. It's not like everybody thinks in the same way. Sometimes we think we're supposed to think in the same way, but even we can't do that here. Although we generally may have the same activities. Generally speaking, brahmacharis may be pujaris, sankirtan devotees, and cooks. Generally speaking, sometimes managers. But how they relate to Krishna is unique in every one of us. And Krishna is bringing out that uniqueness. And when we're actually ready to go back home, back to Godhead, it's because Krishna has seen that you have developed that uniqueness. Even though it may appear I'm in shanta-rasa and somebody else in the Sakya, but my Sakya with Krishna is different from everybody else's. It has some unique characteristic because Krishna has that ability to demonstrate unlimited variety. And that unlimited variety is always increasing. So that we can't even fathom this. How is this going on eternally? How can Krishna be that great? How can it even happen mathematically? We can't even. We try to, figure it out with our little conditioned brains, and try to reduce Krishna down to the point where I can understand him. And therefore, Krishna does things that are simply not understandable. He allows us to understand him to the point of sarvanamam parityajya. You can understand Krishna with logic up to that point. But once surrender takes place, then you can't understand Krishna anymore. You can understand him to some degree. Or you can think you understand him. But he will increase that understanding. That's why when Ramananda Roy, he said, Jnane prayasya udapasya namanta eva. At this point, when knowledge, when tattva can no longer fathom Krishna, then you enter into the point of rasa. Jivanti sanmukaritam. When you're hearing and associating with devotees who actually feel the rasa with Krishna, then you go beyond the point of tattva. And you go enter into the realm of rasa. And that's when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, now we're entering into the goal of life. Where rasa is the rasa of Krishna with Krishna and Vrindavan is beginning to manifest.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, very grateful to your speech which glorified Vrindavan Bhakti so beautifully, and the highest which Prabhupada is talking about the perseverance. My question is, I think, related to this, because when I am trying to understand the will of Param Pujya Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, so the last statement he writes is this, that it's kind of paraphrasing, that I want all my disciples to imbibe the highest philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and more than that, practice that highest philosophy, Hare Krishna, like that. That's the last words he. So I was just trying to understand here what exactly he means by imbibing the highest philosophy and practicing the highest philosophy.
The highest philosophy, because he used the word philosophy, the highest taste, the highest philosophy is to completely surrender to Krishna and do what he wants. So in what form do we worship Krishna? Principally in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So what does Lord Chaitanya desire? That everyone will get Krishna consciousness. And when we enter into the mood of giving Krishna consciousness in complete surrender, then Krishna can manifest more and more within the heart. So that's what it means. That's not going to be the same for everybody. But the activity is the same for everybody. You surrender to Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. Now, surrendering to the Sankirtan movement doesn't mean just distributing books. Distributing books is the main external means by which that compassion can be shared. But entering into the Sankirtan movement also means chanting the holy name with ever-increasing taste and absorption. And that's also part of that entering into the highest understanding of Krishna. We do it through the holy name. Actually, Sanatana Goswami said that our understanding of Krishna, our rasa with Krishna, our eternal identity, will happen through the holy name. It's not going to be revealed to us necessarily in this age, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes in Jaiva Dharma or in Harinam Chintamani, that you will, it will be revealed to you by someone. That may happen, but the normal process in this age is that it will be revealed to us through the holy name. Just as it was revealed to Nanda Gopakumar through the holy name. He saw his guru in Jagannath Puri, in the Jagannath temple, and then he disappeared. And he went out. He went out on the ocean, and he saw his guru standing there, chanting. And he said, "You must continue your chanting." This is a very important part of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, because Nanda Kumar was just being absorbed in Lord Jagannath and his mood of serving Jagannath and chanting mantras and prayers. But at that point, his guru instructed, no, you will get the highest realization through the holy name. Don't give up your chanting. So this is very important for us. Sometimes devotees become negligent in their chanting because they're doing something else. But it shouldn't happen. If we're becoming negligent, it means that we are not developing whatever else we're doing with Krishna properly. It should increase our chanting. And therefore Rupa Goswami says, Namagana Sadha Ruchi. One of the symptoms of Bhava Bhakti is that ever-increasing taste in the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna. So, thank you all. Oh, there's another. Okay, one more question. Because
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for giving your presence and purifying our minds. I have this question. What message can you give the youth who wants to procure science for their future, especially nuclear science, which can also be destructive for the world?
yes, I studied that. No. Of course, I gave it up. But everything can be used in Krishna's service. But Srila Prabhupada did indicate that some things, unfortunately, some technologies, and ultimately all technologies, because of our greed and mode of passion, mode of ignorance and greed, to enjoy material nature and to feel power and position, they get misused. So nuclear power, I just mentioned the other day that Srila Prabhupada said this. He said that we are teaching people to chant Hare Krishna and increase their life. And science is increasing death through the atomic bomb. So nuclear power unfortunately, you know, nuclear radiation is difficult to deal with. Even if you use it constructively to make electricity and power things, then you have to deal with waste. Just like I wrote to Elon Musk and I said, you're I'm waiting for the answer. I'm going to go see him if he doesn't answer me. He has a policy: if you go see him, he will talk to you. So because his launching pad is only about 50 kilometers from my ashram, I can go see him. I say, I want my answer. You say this is helping ecology. What will you do with all the batteries? These batteries they put in electric cars are huge batteries like this. And, you know, there's all kinds of nasty chemicals. And what are they going to do? Launch them into outer space? No, you know, send them loose into some other planet? No. So, unfortunately, these types of technology are very difficult in the ultimate instance. Prabhupada said, no problem, we can use technology. But ultimately, Prabhupada thought the best technology is the ox power, you know, because it's cyclic. You know. You have an ox cart and you have 2 oxen, and then you engage the oxen because when you have cows, some oxen will be there. And if you don't engage them, Prabhupada said, you know, even I've seen very pious Hindus, and I see they have some cows, and then I see the cows are not there. So I asked them, what happened to the cows? Oh, you know, I sold them. And I said, who wants to buy an old cow that's not giving milk? How many people will buy an old cow and pay you good price for it? You know? So they just, what can I do? You know? So this is the real use of technology. But Prabhupada did, you know, here's technology, we have electricity, we have air conditioners. But ultimately, all that technology, it comes at a price. You know? And then we try to find a new technology to take care of the problems that the other technology caused. So therefore, Prabhupada said, our technology is the technology that Rupa Goswami gives in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. It's a technology and a science of understanding rasa. And that science is so deep that Rupa Goswami had to try to explain it in 3 different works. So deep, such a deep explanation, because the most popular, greatest thing in this world is love. And our philosophy of Krishna consciousness and what Rupa Goswami is elaborating is the different technological understandings of love, which is the most cherished thing. And therefore that technology is the real technology.
Maharaj, I have another question. What message can you give to the youth who want to attain career, not for the sake of career, but to become richer faster?
To become
Rich faster, wealthy faster.
To become rich faster? Well, we can become rich in rasa. No, that's okay. No, that type of richness is very nice. But yes, the best thing, that's what people want. No? They don't want to understand Krishna. They don't want to understand Krishna's pastimes. And Srila Prabhupada actually, he said that he was mistaken because he thought when he heard the astrological calculation that he would become very wealthy, he thought, let me become wealthy and then I can support the Gaudiya Math. So it was a good idea, good ambition. But it didn't happen. The opposite happened. He lost his business, he lost his wealth. No. And then he understood that the real wealth was to give Krishna consciousness, to have Krishna consciousness. This is the real wealth, to have Krishna consciousness. So, but sometimes devotees think like that. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, this is one of the greatest manifestations of Maya, to think, let me become very wealthy or very famous or very something, and then I can use that in Krishna's service. Now, but if we have an ambition in this world, yes, we should try to use it in Krishna's service. But if we think this is the way to be Krishna conscious, then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says it's a grave error. Or to think that because I have wealth, that is a product of my devotional service. Or because I have something in this world, it is a product of my devotional service. No, it's a product of my destiny, and my devotional service is how I can use it in Krishna's service. But not that I think that Krishna is rewarding me materially because I did some service. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said this is Maya. Okay, so we'll have to stop here. Thank you all very much for your attention and for your dedication to this temple and to devotional service and to pleasing Krishna and pleasing Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Yatai Gaur Premanandi.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, we want to thank His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj for coming and giving your association. Maharaj, of course, you are coming again in July. So we are again anticipating your association. And we are very grateful for your morning Bhagavatam class. So we want to thank Maharaj by chanting one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj ki jai.